Here's part 2 of how I built this stand for my Cherry Cafe themed Galentine's party. I already showed how I did the whole base in part 1, but now it's time to build the roof structure. Now here's the thing, when it comes to projects like this, I like to just use what I have when it comes to materials, tools, and skills. I often make things up as I go along, just trying different ideas and learning as I go. So I loosely based this roof design off of some more professional ones that I had seen online, but I also definitely took my own creative liberties with it. My goal is to make this whole build collapsible for storage, so I created this hinge design. And I had already gone to Home Depot 3 times and I refuse to go back, so I am finishing this build using what I have. If you're thinking about making something like this, which I think you should because you definitely can, I recommend watching some other videos on similar builds and just really taking some screenshots of what I'm doing here. Maybe it's just me, but I learn more from the general concepts and shapes versus exact measurements and supply lists, because you might want to make yours a different size or use slightly different supplies. I had these leftover pieces of this thin wood veneer that I was determined to use up and make work for the roof, so I cut it into 3 pieces. The 2 main roof pieces and this little scalloped edge. I wanted to make this piece super lightweight, easy, and again collapsible for storage, so I ended up just using painter's tape to create the seams. I'm just making this for personal use, so who cares if it's made out of painter's tape, as long as it works, right? Actual hinges would have been too finicky with this super thin wood and it would have made it heavy, so I don't know, I think this ended up working really well. The roof just sits on top of the table. I didn't want it to be attached in any way because I want to be able to use the table without the roof sometimes too. And for those cases, I didn't want to have any sort of holes or screws messing up the tabletop. So as you just saw, I primed the whole thing, and now I'm going in with my paint sprayer and some high gloss white paint. I'm using high gloss paint specifically so that it'll have that shiny smooth finish, which will be easier to wipe down and keep clean. I know y'all are probably surprised that I didn't paint it pink or at least do pink stripes or something, but I decided to keep it plain white. That way it'll be more versatile for future use. Okay, now get into this full breakdown. The top structure just comes off because it's not attached, and then the roof panels also just come off because they're also not attached and they fold up for storage. This 1x4 just pops out of the little slots that it sits in, and then there's just these 4 screws that you have to take out to disassemble it. And if you're dumb like me, the whole thing will just fall apart and smash your foot. But anyway, then you just end up with these 2 side pieces and then the top piece, which if you remember folds up nicely. Yeah, women in STEM. Then you're just left with the base, which could be used alone as like a bar top. The tabletop just pops off, there's no nails or screws holding it, and the side walls are on hinges, so it folds up flat. So now this will be much more reasonable to store away. I still have a lot more cutie little things planned for this party, so stay tuned to see the rest of the details.